Everybody, welcome back. Chapter 4, Section 1 here. We're moving on to Chapter 4. Hopefully you enjoyed that you didn't have a test for Chapter 3. Make sure that you absolutely do not fall behind on your modules. I'm telling you right now, they're going to start rolling here. You guys got to get them done. They're 30 to 40 minutes a pop. Make sure you do them. Take the exam the best you can, okay, and submit them. All right, so getting in here, this is one of the most important chapters you will have in your schooling life, okay, in your financial life. And the first one that we're going to get into is credit cards. Credit cards can get you into a lot of trouble, okay, if they're not used properly, and they are very dangerous in your financial life. So credit is the receiving of funds either directly or indirectly to buy goods today with the promise to pay them back later. When you use a credit card, you are saying I cannot afford what I'm about to buy. Why do you use a credit card? Well, you want to buy something early than what you actually have for it. Okay? So you can buy a large range of things on credit. Okay? Credit is just a company is accrediting you. Student loan debt is a form of credit. Credit cards are a form of credit. Something that will crush you in your monthly budget that you will pay back monthly with interest. That's how those companies make money off of you. Okay? And you will pay it back monthly. Well, why do you say that? Because remember when we were talking about our disposable and discretionary income? All of a sudden, paying your debt back becomes a necessity. You have to pay your debt back. If you don't pay your debt back, then you will get things taken away from you, like your home, your cars, any type of savings that you've saved. The government can stick their hands right in it and take it right out of your account. Okay, so you have to tread very carefully when you're purchasing large things that you can't pay for up front. Now, when I'm saying this, what does it mean to buy on installment debt or credit? Once again, this caused the crash of 1929. People buying on credit in the stock market. The principal of the amount originally borrowed. So if you buy something for $20,000 car and you have to get the bank to owe you $20,000, so basically you're borrowing the $20,000. Now it might be a 6-year loan, so you're making payments on that car for 6 years. You will not just pay the $20,000 back. You will pay the $20,000 plus interest on that, depending on what your rate is. Okay, your fixed or variable rate. You never want to get a variable rate unless you get a variable rate for a year, and then you can make it a fixed rate after a year, and you go right into it after a year and make it a fixed rate. Okay? So, a principal is the amount originally borrowed, and interest is the amount the borrower must pay for the use of funds. This is very dangerous. Credit. Anytime you receive credit, you are borrowing funds and going into debt. This is the thing that's going to get you in trouble in your financial life. Debt. You will have debt. Taking out a loan is the same as using a credit card, guys. In both cases, you must pay interest on your purchase. You're going to pay interest on your student loan debt. Now, that's why I say you have to go to college and you have to create a plan with a goal to get out as soon as you possibly can, as fast as you possibly can, to get that degree, to work as hard as you possibly can for the shortest amount of time, so you're out of that school with the least amount of debt as you possibly can have, because that is a necessity. After 6 months, the student loan payments are going to come knocking on your door, and the federal government's going to come knocking on your door, as well as any private loaning companies that you had to go through to get through college. And they're going to say, hey, this is how much you owe now. All of a sudden, this becomes a necessity on your budget. Okay? You must pay interest on this if you cannot pay it off in full by the time you go to do this. Durable goods, all right, are things that depreciate in value after 3 years. Okay? Manufactured items that last more than 3 years can be considered installment debt, and they depreciate in value. Installment payments, repayment of loans with a series of equal payments or installments over a period of time until the loan is paid off. You'll get a fixed interest rate on them, and in general, it will be cars, okay, refrigerators, dishwashers, furniture. You might be paying on this thing, refrigerator might go kaput after 4 years, and then all of a sudden you're stuck with this debt, okay, that you have to pay an extra 2 years and you can't even use it. So it's very important to do your research from the previous chapter, and you see how everything piggybacks on top of each other. Now we're getting into decisions that we're making in our life that are going to cost us money. This is why this class is so important. okay, to listen to this stuff. What's the problem with interest? Here's a little example, okay, of the problem with interest. The length of the installment period is important in determining the size of a borrower's monthly payment and the total number of interest he or she must pay. Longer repayment periods result in less monthly payments. Unfortunately, the longer the payment periods results in the more you are going to pay in interest. Take example number one. If you go and you buy a computer and the installment debt on that computer is 24 months, okay, you're paying $45.69 a month and the total interest for 24 months, which equals $96.53. This equals a total payment over 2 years of $1,096.56. Let's say you can't afford $45 a month, but you can afford a 36-month payment for $31.80. So you pay $31.80 a month over 3 years, and you pay $144 in interest, and this equals a payment of $1,144.80. Best Buy just made money off of you, and you thought you were getting a better deal because you were paying longer months on a lower rate. No, not true. You're paying interest on it. You want to get it off of there as fast as you possibly can. I hope you guys understand this. If you have questions, message me through Schoology. This is your life situation here. Why do we use credit if it's so bad? Many people buy big ticket items on credit. People feel these items are necessary to live. People do not want, remember the word want, to wait to save the money to buy these items. They want them. They convince themselves they need them. People want to enjoy the use of driving a big Silverado now and paid off while they had the pleasure of driving it later. Okay? So very, 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 very big decisions you're making here in your life now. Credit. People pay interest on things so the item can be available to them for use. So they get a credit card. They're I'll pay it off later. All of a sudden they purchase another thing, and the interest on that credit card goes up, and it goes up, and you miss a late payment, and the payment doubles. All of a sudden they max out on that credit card. And before they know it, they can only pay the minimum payment without paying that credit card off, and it has sucked up their whole monthly budget. Therefore, then they can't make their payments on their necessities of things because the credit cards have consumed their monthly budget, and they end up going what we call bankrupt, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. It is look in the newspaper every day. It happens to people. They get themselves into credit card debt and ends up ruining their life. Be very, very careful when you have a credit card. The decision to borrow funds involves the satisfaction of get what you get from the purchase. Okay? The biggest form of credit you will ever have in your life, well, there's two of them. Number one will be your student loan debt, if you do have a student loan debt. Hopefully you can minimize that as much as you possibly can. That's why I'm talking to you about it right now. And the biggest form of debt that you will have in your life is called a mortgage. And the largest form of installment debt is on mortgages. Usually a mortgage is used to purchase a home, building, or land. This is installment debt owed on real property. I want to show you guys something real quick about how much interest you actually pay to the bank, how much money the bank actually makes off of you when you get a mortgage for a house. Okay, so I'm just going to go to this real quick. So for instance, let's say that the ordinary house right now, that's a nice house in Erie County and Joe McLean School District is going for about $300,000. Okay, if we do a 30-year mortgage rate, the interest rates are a little lower at this point in time. So it's important that you have good credit. If you have good credit, we'll talk a little bit about why credit cards are important to have. You can have one credit card, and what I would advise you to do so you can build your credit a little bit is to just purchase your gas from your car on it and then pay it off in full at the end of the month. What does this do? It gives the credit bureau a track of you paying things off on time. Don't ever be late on a late payment. It can hurt your credit score. The higher your credit score is, when you go to buy things like cars and homes, when the bank runs your credit report, it will give you a lower interest rate. Therefore, your monthly payment will be less, okay? For example, if you have a $300,000, okay, you will be paying $1,264 a month at 3% interest. Let's just say you have a bad credit score and you're going at 5.0. Watch this monthly. If you make late payments or you have a high credit balance and they still give you the loan, it went up $400. You're saving yourself $400 by having a credit card and paying it off in full responsibly, okay, at the end of the month. If you run credit card debt, it's going to crush you. You might not even be able to qualify for a loan. So be very careful. So, but getting back, let's say we have a do have a very good interest rate on our house mortgage. We do it for 30 years, $300,000 house. Okay, let's check out our amortization report. So your first payment of $1,264.81 that's going to the bank, 514 of it's actually going to you. What's actually the interest you're paying to the bank is 750. You're just giving the bank $750. Therefore, your balance goes down this much. So all of your interest here that you can see on this screen is how much you're paying to the bank and you're not getting back. That's how much money the bank's getting off of you. Every payment you make, okay, for 30 years, okay, you're paying this to the bank. So instead of you got a house mortgage, you bought a house for $300,000, okay, your last payment you're going to pay $3.15 to the bank, okay, and as you can see, it's pretty crazy, okay. So that's what you're getting at this point in time, and you're paying if you add all these up, what you're actually paying to the bank. I forget what it's actually saying. You're actually, so if you do this and it's over 30 years, you bought your house for this, the bank actually made $155,332.36 off of you. You guys see that? Okay, so let's go back. Let's say we do it in 15-year mortgage. The bank only made $72,914 off of you in 15 years. So that's the difference, as you can see here. Your payment's going up, okay, but you're getting rid of the house in 15 years, and therefore you are paying less interest on that home. So just like the Best Buy computer worked, your house works in the same manner at the lower years. So they always say if you can afford it, do a 15-year thing. But it's very, very important to protect your investment for your home. The ordinary one is a 30-year mortgage, okay, and your payment will be around there. If you have any questions for me now, you're going to have to do these things, but it's good that you have a good credit score, and we'll talk a little bit more about credit score following up in the next few days. A lot of people would say, do not do credit cards, don't use them. You shouldn't have more than one credit card, and the only thing that you should ever use on your credit card, like I said, is to pay for gas and to pay it off in full at the end of the month, and to calculate that in your monthly budget. In our next chapter, we're getting in the monthly budget, and these are the most important things that you have in your life when you leave here, is to know these things. And this is why I'm doing it. This is so important for you, okay, and I can't stress it enough. All right, guys, if you have any more questions for me, make sure you message me on Schoology, okay, or hit me up through a Teams chat. I'm certainly open and willing to talk about these very, very important things for you that you're going to encounter in your life. Guys, have a good day.